Absolutely free.
Just really God touching down in my spirit, working on me to speak out loud, speak publicly. Don't hold back anything.
And when we're tapped in
And
to the great I am,
right now, He is working on me with learning to work with that divine counterpart. The one that can communicate with you from within because God gave him permission to come on in.
people have never
Now,
seen a teacher teach in living color.
It's very important when you get to this place that you understand that we're not talking about.
I'm going to get right out here and show you.
This is a sensing.
In living color, what your choices will do to you.
It's a cognizance. It's a knowing.
It's my entire life dwelling on the surface.
It's a way of being.
To expose emotion.
I'm talking about being in relationship with love. Have found the great I am within. And you realize that, nah, this God in me is real. This spirit is trying to guide me. Synchronicities start to show up in your life. You realize, like, hold up, wait a minute. There's too many incidents to be a coincidence, all right? Like, something in my reality is trying to get the attention of me. And for some people, they can see synchronicities with trees and animals and numbers and letters and friends and songs and paintings. And you can find, when God is talking, you just have to be listening. And you got to be able to understand how many languages of God you actually speaking in.
That's what love will do.
But as we start to come into this kingdom mindset, new heaven, new earth, you got to understand, like, the things that don't make it through, well, they don't make it through. And I don't know if nobody realizes it, but, like, when this system come in, God say clear in the book that marriage don't exist no more when we come into God's new system. And reason being is because it's no guarantee that the person that you marry to gonna make it through. And all contracts in this old world is void because we're now going into covenant with the Most High. And, you know, with his chosen being elect and put back into their place where he originally designed them to be, well, God reigns through the chosen. So the chosen, they get this. Now, a lot of people will try to make you believe like, oh, something got to be wrong with you. Maybe you're hallucinating. Maybe it's this. No, there's a big difference between what I'm talking about and hallucinating. This is not this saying, oh, I done starved myself, so now my mind is imagining things. This is, I come to the crossroads in life. And that great I am is really presenting in synchronistic ways the choices that I need to make, the way I need to move so that I end up in the best place for me. Now, somebody might say I'm crazy than a jaybird speaking like in such a way. But what I can tell you is I avert calamity almost every day because I trust the unction in God that comes up inside of me. And so when God starts to tell me how I got to change the way I be so that I can meet my divine counterpart with his help, you see? Because wisdom is what governs my thinking. And if you've seen the scripture I put up earlier today, if you didn't see it, I'm not going to give it to you, but you can go back and look, okay? You will see the significance of wisdom and knowledge and the role in their lives that we should play. Knowledge being man, wisdom being woman. And so I realized that, well, if God is now bringing me and this energy together to become one through him, not because I chose him or he chose me, but God said, this who I made. And they got the right temperament and they got the right energy to put you at pitch perfect balance. Hey. Because in this 3D world, sometimes balance is a challenge. Sometimes balance, you dealing with people and their feelings and not understanding that the feeling ain't got nothing to do. You got your feelings, they on your plate, they for you to deal with. Don't give your feelings away, because don't nobody need more feelings than they got, okay? And so when you hear these men expressing like, hold up, you got to understand that men different than women. Yes, they really are. Now, God ain't no respecter of person. And he don't make one of us more valuable than the other. But we as women and women of worth have to be able to know this for our fathers, our sons, our husbands, and our brothers. That we have a different order of operation than one another. And if you dealing with somebody who been through unspeakable hurts, abandonments by way of the women who they came in this world with, mama, I'm a whole mama, so I'm talking about me too. None of us get a pass. Nobody gets excluded. We all got to account for what we have been doing. And so when that brother say, well, I don't know how to do X, Y, N, or Z, I'm not going to do it. You're going to have to adjust to me. Well, let me tell you something, women of worth, what that really means. It means that is the moment that you was designed for. It is your I am moment in that man's life. Now, what you going to be when you say I am for the man that God gave to me divinely? He going to have to take me the way I be? You are present to meet him with his help. And he don't really want to be by himself, but he wants somebody who know how to be there with him. Who know that for as much as you want to talk, sometimes you just got to be quiet and listen. And trust me, I know, because I talk a lot. But when you know you standing by somebody that's divine, given to you by the Most High God. I'm not talking about some nigga that you gonna go in and do the slip and slide. I'm talking about that man that was provided by way of God. I'm talking about the one that's gonna stick with you through thick and thin. I mean, he is down to put in work and he is down to ride. I'm talking about that divine. Yup, he makes sure them bills pay on time. I'm talking about that kind of divine. Ain't out here causing no harm to this here world of mine. Not contributing to its calamity, but actually part of the rebuilding of God's family. I'm talking about that kind of divine. So don't you get this confused in your mind that I'm talking about that narcissistic ninja, or right now we on the subject of what women of worth need to be able to recognize for these men of worth. There are men of worth. And when you run into these type of men, you can't be what Boo Boo and Trey Trey and everybody else trying to do on any given day. It is your God-given responsibility to stand up, find the big I am inside of you, and meet that man with his help so that he can make it through too. Because let me tell you something, woman, for as much as wisdom does lead the father, he said wisdom led the first father. When death was knocking at the door, it was wisdom that brought Adam through, you see. So I'm going to tell you the W, X, Y, and the Z. So what wisdom says right now, God body, is that women of worth, we have to understand our men have been emasculated by their mama. We have emasculated our sons. If you was one of them, I got to put my hand up because I was one. Did not know how to speak to and or respect my son. Evidence of what Willie Lynch done. Post-traumatic slavery syndrome. You understand? We are suffering. I forgot the lady name who do that, but she's a doctor. And I learned about where my friend Brian Young, I don't know, Brian Young, I'm sorry. I don't even know if he's still living because I've been looking for him on the internet and I can't find him. Anybody know the graphic artist Brian Young? You tell him Charmaine Always Smiling Green is looking for him. Okay. Okay. However, let's get back to the topic at hand, lady. Women of worth. It's understanding that we are dealing with men who are dealing with deep-rooted hurts. So if you know what it feels like to have suffered the abuse of a man, If you know what it feels like to be mentally manipulated and used over and over again, let me tell you something, ladies, that these men of worth don't really know how to say to you. Is that you got that from a nigga. And theirs came from their mama, boo. It was their mama who made them feel less than they were supposed to. It was their mama that nursed them longer than she was supposed to. And it was their mama who allowed them to reduce something to something, to reduce your own. I'm talking about strong. I remember back in the 80s, my friends, when boys going to school and they got a sling from their mama, and then some of them, mama was in there getting high as all outdoors. Wasn't nothing up in the refrigerator. Wasn't they out here trying to figure out how to sharing every fucking thing you got with anybody you can find? Latchkey kids, the ones that was left behind. These boys was forced into manhood, put in positions to do things that they never should. I don't know if we not going to tell the story for real, but let me tell you something. For that crack, you had benches that would take any boy up on the hill. And if we don't acknowledge the fact that that's sexual abuse for real, and we keep on acting like, oh, well, that's just part of the deal. No, it is not. It's not the design that God made for the body. And these are the responsibilities that we got to take, not just for ourselves, but for everybody. Are you your brother's keeper? The book say, yes, sir. And so we have to know as women of worth that we going to keep our brothers, yo. We going to make sure that we love them in that special way, the way love's supposed to go. It ain't got nothing to do with how you feel. Your feelings is reserved for you. You don't give that man your feelings, and you don't take his too. Everybody got them feelings for them to work through. It is your responsibility, dear heart, to love and take care of you. You got the ability to nurture without even having to try. It's built in you by design. But we talking about men who got to go out here and toil to make a way for you. Guess what? In a world that's trying to make them lose their goddamn mind. Then no matter how hard they work, every bit of advertising say that a man ain't no good for a goddamn thing. All a man can do for you is give you $1 and a lay. This is the mindset that we dealing with today. This is the robbery that is happening to God's body, okay? Women of worth, it is your job to stand up. Listen, I'm telling you, I'm learning this in living color right now, my friends. It is so essential that we open up our eyes and recognize that it is our responsibility to keep one another in this thing. And sometimes it is downright hard because we're all battling something. But if you're going to as wisdom, if you want knowledge to trust you, because wisdom is knowledge is God, right? But what the book say, if you read further down in that scripture that I put up today, it say that, but wisdom had to be taught by knowledge first. And so if you do not let knowledge go before wisdom, well, then how wisdom going to guide it? How is your king going to be in his place when it is the queen that's smacking them all up in the face? And you're not doing it because it's out of your natural mind state. You're doing it because you've been marketed to that way. You've been told since your infancy. This is the way women and men supposed to be. But at the end of the day, the truth for everybody, God ain't no respecter of no person. God just respect the energy. And if you the one bringing that negativity, because somebody say, please, I'm dealing with a lot and I just need you to let me be, how could you receive the consideration when the consideration going to be what you need? And how do that man get the understanding if you don't guide him through this thing? And it's not going to be because of the words you say. It is going to be the actions that you show up with And that's going to be the proof, okay? And what the law of reciprocity say is what you put out come back to you. So if you giving love away, but love is not being returned to you, I'm going to tell you right now, every woman of worth, what you need to do. You need to put that thing down and wait on for what God has already ordained for you. And the same for that man over there is true, because I remember an old saying, somebody would say, one man's wife is another man's whore. Well, one person's devil is one person's score. You understand? And just because you a treasure over there, don't mean that they would see you as a treasure from over there. And so it's accepting these realities that, listen, trying to force yourself into a connection because you said that we got a connection, but your life don't reflect that you are actively living in a connect. You need to get a neck checkup, because if you in that relationship and you stay, well, then you fucked up. And you can't blame nobody else for your bad luck. It's really time for us to stop caring so much for others and care for ourselves. Everybody want to be God all by themselves, not recognizing that, no, it's two sides to everything. You understand what I'm saying, my friends? And when you divinely matched, I mean, it is a beautiful thing. It's beautiful because, first off, God picked the match. So you don't got to guess whether or not you work or not. And where you have your struggle at, well, that's where the other one's strong at. And so when you honest with yourself and can admit your own weakness, you can see how you rely on the other person. And when you can look at them and see their strength, their weakness show up, and you know where you got to be strong for them. This is about an order of operation, my friends. I'm here to set the captive free. I hope that you like, subscribe, and follow me, because I'm telling you, this message I'm giving, and I'm giving it for free. You don't see no cash app down there of me asking nobody. Nah, I'm standing knee deep in the shadow of the Almighty. And I know that no matter what happens next, God is the one that's providing. And anybody in the connection that can't see that, well, they are the ones that's doing the dividing. So you let all the divisors go. Because in God, multiplication is the way we grow. He said you can't add, you can't subtract, you can't divide. The only thing God ever told us to do was be fruitful and multiply. When it comes for us separating, he ain't say divide, he said come out. Now that might be another word that we would use to figure out a division problem, but I promise you, if you come out from amongst them, then you in the hole. That's some superfluous stuff, and I promise you, that stuff is going to go.